Hello everybody, it's TannerFishies here, back again with a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the Ice Emperor's potential role within the 2022 Ninjago story, and how Zane's evil alter ego could tie into the plot of next year's Ninjago story. So obviously, in case you guys have not been caught up to speed, there's been a lot of discussion in the Ninjago community recently revolving around the return of the Ice Emperor, and that is due to a Ninjago leak that we got earlier this weekend. If you haven't already seen my video where I go into a little bit more detail revolving around that specific news drop, I recommend checking it out before proceeding with this one. If you have seen that video, then you're pretty much caught up to speed. If you aren't, here's a quick recap. So the Ninjago community kind of exploded this weekend into theory mode when the voice actress of Ultraviolet allegedly posted a couple of episodes that she will be recording for the next year of Ninjago. These two episodes were called Quittin' Time and The Return of the Ice Emperor. Now these two episodes have not been confirmed as legitimate just yet as of the time of recording this video, and the voice actors of Ultraviolet posting these episode names has also not been 100% confirmed. This could be one giant fabrication, but a lot of Ninjago community members are basically going with the idea that these are legit. And if they are, how exactly does this plot tie into the upcoming 2022 storyline? Like I said, the big one that people are talking about is the return of the Ice Emperor. The Ice Emperor, of course, being Zane's evil form during the Neverrealm saga of Ninjago, which was essentially the second half of Ninjago Season 11. You guys all remember that, and that wasn't really well received by a lot of Ninjago fans. Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu, otherwise known as Season 11, was not a very well received season by the majority of the Ninjago fanbase. As such, some people are dreading the return of the Ice Emperor if these episode names do in fact turn out to be real. But before we go any further, like I said, this could all be fake for all we know, so do keep that in mind as you watch forward. But let's just say for a second that the Ice Emperor does indeed return. What exactly would that look like, and in what context could the Ice Emperor himself make a reappearance? I have a few ideas here in terms of theories and possible plots that we're going to be going over in today's video. The first one that we're going to be talking about is one that I feel like is the most likely, and that is the idea that Zane will indeed disguise himself as the Ice Emperor in a kind of filler-esque episode to break into a villainous organization or join up with a villain team. There is another theory floating around the community that there's going to be a villain team-up at some point during 2022. That would explain why characters like Ultraviolet and Fugitive are going to be making a return, and that could tie in with the Vengestone buyer stuff, but I'm not super sure about that. We're going to be exploring that in its own separate video later on. But let's just say for a second that there is a villain team-up, and the ninja needs somebody on the inside. What exactly are they going to do? They're going to bring in their ninja that was also a bad guy. Zane could easily redisguise himself as the Ice Emperor and kind of infiltrate this villain team-up organization thing. To a large majority of the Ninjago public, not a lot of people know that Zane was the Ice Emperor during the Neverrealm saga. People of the Neverrealm sure know, but most people outside of the Neverrealm probably would not know that Zane was the Ice Emperor. As such, Zane could disguise himself as the Ice Emperor and slip through enemy lines and kind of get information from this villain team-up if that's the route that they're going to be going. This could kind of take place in its own little side episode, not exactly filler of sorts, especially if this is going to be part of the main Ninjago plot for 2022. This technically wouldn't be considered filler, but I could totally see a side story or a side episode featuring Zane trying to infiltrate this new villain organization, including characters like Ultraviolet and Fugitive, and maybe a couple of other side villains that we've seen throughout recent Ninjago. That would explain why the Ice Emperor would return. He returns, but not legitimately. Zane's just disguising himself as a bad guy to slip through enemy lines. That's basically the most likely option in my opinion. Another option that we have is the idea of Zane going back to the Neverrealm for some reason. If Zane were to return to the Neverrealm, obviously to the folks of the Neverrealm, they would see him as the Ice Emperor, hence the Ice Emperor returns. I'm not sure for what reason Zane would need to go back to the Neverrealm. Maybe they need to find some type of artifact that's buried deep within that realm. We have no idea really. It has been said in the past to be one of the most difficult realms to navigate and come back from, so the idea that Zane would go there willingly is kind of, I guess, not really convincing in my opinion. I feel like if Zane were to return to the Neverrealm, I feel like a large majority of the population of the Neverrealm would indeed see Zane as the Ice Emperor, hence the return of the Ice Emperor title means that Zane would just be returning to the Neverrealm, where he was the Ice Emperor. But I'm not really sure if that's going to be the case either. I still feel like the first one is a lot more likely. In terms of an opposite viewpoint, let's just say for a second that Zane does indeed return as the evil Ice Emperor. Zane becomes evil again. What exactly would that idea look like? Well, the idea of Zane becoming bad bad again, it is kind of an intriguing topic, but it is something that we've already gone over. There are a couple of reasons as to why Zane could indeed become evil again. For one, he's a Ninjaroid. We're not exactly sure if there's going to be anything in the future that could potentially hack into his systems. Zane has definitely showcased a lot of vulnerability so far, but with the idea of the Ice Emperor's legitimate return, the thing that turned Zane into the Ice Emperor in the first place was a combination of memory loss and the influence of the Forbidden Spinjitzu Scroll. Are the Forbidden Spinjitzu Scrolls going to make a reappearance? I am not sure. I feel like they are very powerful relics within the context of the Ninjago universe, so if a bad guy wanted to steal them, Zane could probably intercept that and accidentally become the Ice Emperor again. Forbidden Spinjitzu probably affects Zane a little differently than the other ninja, so I could totally see this being the case. Maybe Zane gets mind wiped again for an entire episode, but why would Ninjago do that? It seems a little repetitive to me, especially because back in season 11, this was the primary story arc of the Neverrealm saga. The second half of season 11 was all about Zane becoming evil and becoming the Ice Emperor. If Ninjago decides to do this again for just a random episode, it would seem a little repetitive and a little boring, honestly. Now, if the 2022 story arc involves Zane being the Ice Emperor throughout the entire time, then that would be even more repetitive. We already had the idea of Zane becoming a villain be a thing throughout an entire season of Ninjago. Why would the Ninjago staff decide to implement that storyline again? The only way that I could see this happening is if the Ninjago team wants a shot at creating a better Ice Emperor arc. Maybe they want to redo that arc and make it a little better. Like I said, season 11 does not have the best fan reception. The reception for season 11 is pretty much split 50-50 among the fan base, so if the Ninjago team wanted to try again with a plot from season 11 and perhaps make a better storyline surrounding it, I could see that being the case. Otherwise, I think that bringing Zane back as a legitimate Ice Emperor might be a little repetitive and honestly just a little boring. I think a large majority of the Ninjago fanbase wants to see something new and kind of move on from the Ice Emperor plot. Like I said, there are ways to go ahead and involve an evil Zane in the next storyline. Maybe the Venstone buyer is General Vex somehow, and maybe Vex tries to manipulate Zane again, hence bringing back the Ice Emperor, but like I said, I don't know if this is going to be the case. The final option that we're going to be discussing in today's video is the idea that the Ice Emperor will return, but as a different character. I've seen this be suggested as well. Maybe the Ice Emperor does indeed return, but it's not Zane. Maybe somebody else takes over the mantle. The Ice Emperor's main thing, though, the thing that made him intimidating, was the fact that he could create an everlasting winter using his elemental power. As the Ice Elemental Master, Zane had the ability to basically improve and upgrade his Ice Element once he became the Ice Emperor. Nobody in Ninjago has the ability to do that except for Ice Elemental Masters, so unless there's a previous Ice Master that comes back, or maybe even Skylar copying Zane's power, she could become the Ice Emperor, but I'm not exactly sure where they would go with this. Going back to the villain team-up idea, maybe the villains recruit their own Ice Emperor. Maybe it's just a temporary thing. Maybe even in the same style as a character such as Misdemeanor, who has faux firepower. She can shoot fire, but it's not an idea of her being an elemental master. It's just her equipment. Maybe we'll see something similar with an ice bad guy. Maybe there's another villain coming that can shoot ice, similar to Misdemeanor, who controls fire. I could see that being the case, and I could totally see the Ninjago team working with the idea of bringing back the Ice Emperor, but not as Zane, as somebody entirely different. That could also be a way that the Ice Emperor does return. However, I think the most likely option, like I said earlier, is that Zane will go undercover as the Ice Emperor. We've seen Zane go undercover before as villains. For example, in Sons of Garmadon, he was famously Snake Jaguar, so I could see him trying to disguise himself as the Ice Emperor once again and infiltrate this new villain team-up thing that is rumored to be going on for 2022. Other than that, I don't see any way that the Ice Emperor could legitimately return unless it's Zane going undercover. I feel like that's the most likely option. However, if Zane does indeed become evil again and return as an evil Ice Emperor, I'm curious to see how they handle it and what the Ninjago team is going to do to make that storyline different than the one that we got back in season 11. I don't want it to be a repetitive thing, and if they do decide to go the evil Zane arc, I hope that they do everything in their power to not make it repetitive. Like I said though, the most likely option for me, of course, is the idea that Zane is going to be going undercover using his Ice Emperor alias to infiltrate a villain team-up organization thing, whatever you want to call it. But we got to remember that this information could be 100% false at the end of the day, so nothing I said in this video is going to be 100% the case. If those episode names are correct and legitimate, then I'm excited to see what the Ninjago team does in bringing the Ice Emperor back to the show. What exactly that's going to look like, we don't know, but we can simply speculate and come up with our own ideas. I've already presented some of mine in today's video, so let me know what you think about them down below in the comments. Guys, thank you so much for watching. That's going to pretty much wrap it up for this video here today. Do you think the Ice Emperor will indeed return in Ninjago Ninjago 2022? And if he does return, in what way would you like to see him come back? What way do you think is the most likely? Leave all your thoughts down below in the comments, you guys, and hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. That's going to pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today. If you enjoyed, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and check out the links down below in the description for my other forms of social media. As always, big shout out goes out to my Patreon supporters, including once again the marvelous Jan. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video once again. My name is TannerFishies, and with that I bid you farewell.